in verse 15, and ye shall leave your name for a curse.
So the Lord said you're going to leave your name for a curse. Until what?
Unto my chosen. For the Lord God shall slay thee and call his servants by another name.
Did you know the Lord slays people? But don't they say in church God is good all the time, and all the time God is good? Why don't they read that in the scriptures, in the churches, right? And where is that quote or that phrase that somebody made up? Where is that in the Bible? It's showing you that the Lord does good and evil, right? Give me that in Isaiah 40, right? 45 and verse 7. Right, read what you got. Read what you got.
I got Isaiah chapter 45 verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things.
So the Lord said, I, the Lord, do all these things. The Lord is in control of all of that. That's why it's important for us to keep the commandments, because the Lord is in control of all of it. We're not really, when it boils down to it, we're not in control of our health, our well-being. The Lord is in control of that. The Lord can have one of us fall out right now. God forbid, right? But that's why it's important for us to listen to the Most High God. Right? Read what you got, King.
Okay. The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 33.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to.
For God is not the author of confusion.
Matter of fact, give me verse 33.
Verse 33. The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse
15 and 33.
15 verse 33. Be not deceived.
Right.
Evil communications corrupt good manners.
So the Lord said, be not deceived. Don't be deceived by these evil communications, because it's going to corrupt your good manner. When they tell the women, hey, you don't need a man, that's evil communication. When they tell our men, go out and kill your brother, that's evil communication. Go out and sleep with as many women as you want, that's evil communication, right? And we shouldn't let that deceive us and corrupt our mind. Can you read it?
Awake to righteousness and sin not.
The Lord said, awake to righteousness. Do y'all know what righteousness is according to the Bible? Right? Let's show the sisters real quick what righteousness is, right? The Lord said, awake to righteousness. So, you know, a lot of people say, I'm woke, right? I see what's going on. No, a lot of people are aware, but they're not woke. Because when you woke, you start putting actions towards what you're doing. See what I'm saying? When you woke, you start cleaning up yourself, right? Read what you got.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 25. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he have commanded us.
That's what the Lord said righteousness is according to the Bible. So whenever you see the word righteous in there, it's talking about keeping the commandments. Read that again.
All right. I'll read this one.
Yes, sir.
The book of Romans, chapter 10, verse 5. For Moses describeth the righteousness which is of the law.
Which is of what?
Which is of the law.
Which is of the law. That's keeping the commandments of God, right? Plain as day right there, right? Y'all have any questions? Come on. So, as a people, right, do y'all know what we have to do? What do we have to do as a people? Knowing that we're Israelites now.
Find each other.
That's true.
Find each other.
Give me that real quick.
It's
That
hard to
7-9.
find each other.
Yeah, we have to find each other. Now,
Put the word out.
that's true. We got to put the word out. Let's show the sister in the scripture what the Lord wants us to do.
The book of Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together.
Right.
Yea, gather together, O nation, not desire.
That's what you just said. We got to look for each other. Hey, guess what? When we look for each other, we got to, hey, brother, come over here. Sister, come over here. We got to gather together, right? But not under wickedness, because we come together. You get together at a so-called black party, guess what's going to happen? Shoot out. Your auntie and uncle going to get to fight, right? Your big cousin, and he don't like the other cousin over here. We can't come together like that. We got to come together under righteousness, right? Keeping God's commandments, right? Read.
Before the decree bring forth.
Right.
Before the days pass as the shaft.
Right.
Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you.
And that's why we got to gather together. Because the Lord is about to do a number on America. The Lord is going to do a number on America. Right? You see what's going on in these other countries? How it's chaos everywhere. That right there is coming here. That's why the Lord told us to gather together before the coming of the day of the Lord. Because that's going to be terrible and a great wrath. Right? It's not going to be a beautiful sight. Right? It's not going to be where you just wake up and go to damn Starbucks and enjoy your favorite sit down on the balcony and chill for a minute. No, you're gonna have people breaking in houses. You're gonna have people tearing down buildings, blowing them up. It's gonna be utter chaos in America, utter chaos all around the earth before the Lord come back. Right? So why not gather with your brother that's gonna be there by your side, keeping the commandments? Because if I got a brother next to me in those days, and we have something that we live by keeping these commandments, I'm not gonna steal from him. He's not gonna steal from me. I'm not gonna sleep with his wife. He's not gonna sleep with my wife, right? See what I'm saying? But how can I gather together with somebody and we're not on the same level, or not level, but on the same mindset, right? I believe I can do all these things, or I can't do all these things, but you think that we can, right? You think it's okay if to sleep with my wife, or you think it's okay to steal from me. We can't camp with no people like that, right? Read that again.
It says, before the decree bring forth, before the days pass as it shall,
Right.
before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you,
That's right.
before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. Verse 3. Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth.
The Lord says, seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth. Read.
Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment.
Right.
Seek righteousness.
Seek what?
Seek righteousness.
What is righteousness? Is what?
Following the Lord, a commandment.
Following the commandment. All praise. Get a sister a hand, right? The Lord says, seek righteousness. Do you think America is seeking righteousness right now? What are they seeking on a Saturday?
Pleasure.
Pleasure. There you go, sister. Perfect word. Perfect word. Nothing but pleasure. That's all America is seeking, right? That's why they have laws where you can marry another man, right? Woman can marry a woman. You can go marry a tire if you want to, right?
You can identify as a tire.
Right. Exactly. You can identify whatever you want to. They really trying to slowly creep in the pedophilia. You know, all that's tied in together. And the LGBTQ, and I think you had to look it up, but it had a P in there too for pedophilia. You know.
Oh, really?
They've had that in there before. That's right.
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 6 and verse 14.
Hey, because you got to realize these are the Greeks, right? And that's a part of their culture, right? They used to sleep with little boys, right? That's a part of them. You know, read.
2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14.
Right.
Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers.
Don't be equally yoked together with unbelievers, right? Read.
Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion have light with darkness?
That's right. And they have no communion together, right? Ultimately, that's going into not being with the other nations. Don't be together with unbelievers. The Lord said, depart from your enemies, right? Flee away from them, right? So you shouldn't be going to Top Golf with the so-called white man, right? You shouldn't be going to pizza dinner with him, you know? Because guess what? They're not going to do anything but pollute your mind.
Right.
Here we are talking about Christ as a so-called black man. We the Israelites. We got to keep God's commandments. What do you think they're going to say?
So I got a question.
What's that?
So you got an Edomite that might walk up, or a white man that might walk up, and they now understand their prayer and do believe that the black man is the chosen. Okay. So then you got a white man, and you got a black woman. Do you feel now that they can come together in marriage? Even though the white person has said you are the chosen one, and they believe, they believe, but they're still, I guess we'll say, the white person. Can those two come together?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Give me that. Give me that. Where it say the wicked should not go unpunished. Bible for sure. And hold your precepts to it. Y'all
Because
got
he's believing right now, right?
Well, when we say believer, matter of fact, let's deal with that. Let's deal with a believer. Right? Give me James. Right? Give me the book of James, chapter 2, and I think it might be verse number 18. Right? Give me James chapter 2, verse number 18, and then we're gonna read that because we got to talk about a believer. What is a believer? Because everybody can say I believe, right?
Right.
See what I'm saying?
A believer, isn't it someone who accepts Christ as their Lord and Savior?
For the most part, but that's not the only thing.
You got
See
to
what I'm saying?
practice it.
You gotta practice it. There you go. There you go. Read what you got, King.
Book of James, chapter 2, verse 18. Yea, a man,
Yeah.
yea, a man may say, thou hast faith and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works.
You heard what James said? I'm going to show you my faith by my works, by what I do. I'm not just going to say I'm a believer. That's what they do in the Christian church, right? But they still in there eating pork. They still in there celebrating Christmas with a Christmas tree in there.
Right.
See that? Celebrating pagan holidays in the church.
I'm sorry,
what you got,
may know, but I was talking to a friend of mine about this. I remember reading the scripture. I can't remember what it was, but it was talking about something like those who deck their with gold and something.
There you go.
Would you by any chance remember what?
Jeremiah
scripture?
chapter 10. Jeremiah
okay.
chapter 10. And read that for the sister. Get Jeremiah chapter 10 and then hold your precepts. But James said, I'm going to show you my faith by my works, right? So I'm going to show you I believe by the things that I do. I'm going to keep the commandments of the Most High. That's what a true believer would do. They're going to keep the commandments. So to answer that question, guess what? Which he will not be able to do, because the Lord said his soul, which is lifted up in him, is not upright in him. So-called white man, their soul is not right enough to do that, to even keep the commandments. That's why you see them dodging everything in the Bible to break the commandments. You don't see them out there teaching that we shouldn't eat pork, shouldn't celebrate pagan holidays, shouldn't be marrying to other nations, right? Shouldn't be doing all of these things. They won't even tell you that they were going to be slaves in the kingdom of heaven. They're not going to tell you that, right? But
Jeremiah.
yeah, give me that in Jeremiah.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you,
Right.
O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
The Lord said, don't learn the way of the heathen. The heathen are the other nations. Don't learn their ways, because their ways are corrupt. And when you hang around these people, guess what? Your ways will be corrupt eventually.
Right.
You know, because they're going to influence you in different ways that you can't even see coming. Right, read.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
And don't be dismayed at the signs of heaven. You know, now they got the eclipse about to come. Everybody just flabbergasted. They going traveling across country, right? To watch it, which is nothing wrong with looking at it, but they actually worshiping this thing, right? You see what I'm saying? They worship the moon, they worship the stars. Some people worship the sun. The Lord never said that to do that. That's what the heathen will do. You know, they have different names for like stars that connect now, so-called, right? The Big Dipper, Orion.
Constellations or
Yeah.
whatever they
Right, the constellation. Then that ties into astrology, right? And it also ties to what you think of yourself. I'm a Taurus, I'm a Cancer. See what I'm saying? And people actually believe that and accept that as true. Right, read what you got.
Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
Don't learn their ways.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Don't be dismayed when all these different signs of heaven come. The Lord made the signs of heaven for a reason, but we're not going to be dismayed at them like the heathen would be. Read.
For the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain.
The Lord said the customs of them are vain. Christmas is vain. Thanksgiving is vain. Halloween is vain. Buddha is vain. Allah is vain. Right? Read.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest.
So this one, this talking about a particular custom that they do. They go and chop a tree out of the forest. What that sound like? Right? Read.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest.
Right.
The work of the hands of the workman with the axe.
Right.
They deck it with silver and with gold.
What did the sister say earlier?
They deck it with silver and with gold.
They deck it with silver and gold. Right? That's plain as day what it's talking about. Right? But they won't read that in the Christian church. But they will have a big tree in there, right behind the pulpit, and have presents for the pastor on that day or the day before. Right? Read.
They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not.
Right. And this is actually an ancient Babylonian custom right here. Right? So that show you how far Christmas goes back. Right? Because it wasn't such thing as Santa Claus at first and different things of that nature. They added that in there. But this was particularly to worship Nimrod. Right? That's what it goes back to. Worship Nimrod, which is who they call the sun god. Well, you've probably heard of him called the sun god Ra before. Right? That would be Nimrod. Read.
I also just want to add, this is in the Old Testament, so Christ wasn't on the scene. So when they say it is Christmas for his birth, he wasn't even on the scene yet. They already were doing this. The Lord told us not to do these things. You know what I'm saying? So Christmas is tradition that they combine all these different customs of different people together to celebrate. All right, verse 5. I'm gonna read verse 4 again. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not.
Right.
They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must be needs born because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil. Neither also is it in them to do good.
That's right, and it's not in them to do good, right? But like the brother was saying, kind of going back to the question that you initially asked, all these things right here kind of goes with that question, because you would be they would be, not saying you, but they would be partaking in the customs of the heathen. But let me show you exactly why a so-called black woman should not marry a white man. Right? Let me show you why they shouldn't be together. Right? Read what you got, King.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 1. Let's start with verse 1. When the Lord God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and cast out many nations before thee,
right.
The Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, and the Canaanites, Jebusites, nations greater than and mightier than thou, when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them.
See what it's talking about? That's going into war. This is war. So after that, what comes with war? The spoils of war. Jewels, the women of the other nation who you conquered, right? That's the spoils of war, right? Read.
Verse 3. Neither shall thou make marriages with them.
So the Lord said, when you come into these nations and you conquer their land, right? Neither shall you make marriages with them.
Neither shall you make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son.
Don't give your daughter to their son, right? Read.
Nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me.
They're going to have you worshiping white Jesus. They're going to have you worshiping Christmas. They're going to have you worshiping Thanksgiving. That's what the Lord is saying. Because guess what? Read that last part again.
For they will turn away thy son from following me.
They're going to turn that Israelite man from following the Most High. Right? They're going to turn that Israelite woman definitely from following the Most High. Because you know why? Because the man is supposed to be the head of the house. So guess what the woman is supposed to do? She's supposed to be follow her leader, right? So when a so-called black woman marries a black man, a so-called white man, right? Who is she supposed to follow? Her man, right? That's who she's supposed to follow. And guess what he's going to be doing? He's not going to be worshiping the Most High God of Israel, right? He might read the Bible, but he's going to be worshiping white Jesus. He's going to be celebrating these pagan holidays, right? He's not going to be teaching you not to eat pork. He's not going to tell you that you're the greatest nation on the planet Earth, right? And that you're above all people and you're not equal to me, right? He ain't going to tell you that at home. Hell, under his breath, he might call you a nigga when he get mad at you. You know? Read.
For they would turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods.
And what they going to do?
That they may serve other gods.
You'll end up serving another god by following the so-called white man, by following the East Indian. You know, he'll have you worshiping Krishna, right? The elephant with 8 arms, right? You'll be worshiping so-called black woman worshiping Krishna. You see what I'm saying? Because you'll be following that head, right? But read what you got.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse 18.
Here's another reason right here.
And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the 2nd month. And they declared their pedigree after their families, by the house of their fathers.
By the what?
By the house of their fathers.
The scripture is saying you are who your father is, right? So whoever your father is, that's who you are. Your father's a so-called white man, that's who you are.
I was gonna say that messed up your DNA.
It messes up your DNA. Because you would be bringing forth another child for their nation and not yours. That child might look so-called black, right? But that child would actually be an Edomite. But if you lay down with an Israelite man, you would be multiplying your nation. Well, but when you don't do that, you deplete your nation and bring forth more of them. See that? So really, the child from the so-called white man and the black woman, that would be a so-called Caucasian. In this society, they call him mixed. But according to God, he would be Edomite. Right? What you got?
Now, Jim Fitz, it don't go by your color, your skin color, because you can be as dark as me. And if your father is white, you will be considered an Edomite. You know what I'm saying? You can't go by the skin color, it go by the blood line.
I was just always
That's right. Like the brother was just bringing out, we have the dominant gene. We got something to bring it out.
This is the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 26, verse 19. And it reads, "My son, keep the flower of thine age sound, and give not thy strength to strangers. When thou hast gotten a fruitful possession through all the field, sow it with thine own seed."
Without what?
With thine own seed.
Sow it with your own seed. You got
Trusting in the goodness of thy stock, so thy race which thou leavest shall be magnified, having the confidence of their good descent.
So basically, I'm sorry. So basically, we're saying, because I do know that if we have a group of Israel of the chosen, or I think, I know the 12 tribes, Israel. But when you have a group out there that, not all of them, but you might have one or two of them that say, hey, I know that what they're speaking is the truth. I know that what they're saying is the truth. I know that these are the chosen people, and that one day they're practically is going to be over us, and we might end up being their servants. Those people cannot. I'm just asking.
Can they get the kingdom?
Can they get the, yes. Can they get to the kingdom?
Overall answer is no.
Okay.
Because we are the ones that suffer. We are the ones that were prophesied to get the kingdom. Okay. And when you read, the kingdom is only pertaining to the 12 tribes. And that's part of our rulership, having servants. You know, right now, because of our disobedience, we serve them. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how we feel and we know we Israel or we don't accept it, we still serving our enemy. And because of our disobedience, they rule over us. So as prophecy state, and the Most High is a just God, when we do what we supposed to do, we gonna be put back on top rather than being on the bottom. And if they on top right now, to be just, they got to go back on the bottom. You know, but I'm gonna get you that Proverbs 11:21.
And another thing, the Lord judges nations of people, right? Just like we got judged as a nation. You see what I'm saying? All of us went into slavery on ships for the most part. All of us went into captivity all around the world. Pretty much delete our memory of who we are, starting in 1492. You see that? So-called Native American went into captivity, the Hispanics, and the so-called black man. All of us got judged as a nation at the same time, right? Yes, sir.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 24. It says, "But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel." So, to go with your question, you said can the other people get the kingdom? Right here, he says he's only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And that's a red letter. So, you know, if he only sent to us, he only dealing with us.
You got one? The book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 21. "Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished." So although some of our people join hand in hand with the wicked, guess what? They still not gonna go unpunished. It says, "But the seed of the righteous shall be delivered." The seed of the righteous. Now what is that talking about? The seed. Who you come from, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Your seed, the word semen comes from the word seed. Right? That's the etymology of it. Your bloodline, thank you, brother. Your bloodline, the seed of the righteous, they are going to be the ones that's going to be saved. Just like what he just read, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's who Christ was sent to, right? So, though hand join in hand with the wicked, they will not be unpunished. They still going into captivity. They still going into slavery, right? So at the end of the day, they can accept it or not. They still going to be judged for what they did as a nation of people. What you got, Ken?
You get that in Proverbs, not Proverbs.
You had a question?
Psalm chapter.
I can't hear you, King.
What makes an individual of that seed? Because I feel just praying and stuff like that right now. On that level right now, poverty, dealing with calamities, dealing with trials, dealing with tribulations. I'm done with it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like in despair with myself. But my thing is, what makes an individual of that
question though? What was your question?
What makes you the seed?
What makes you the seed? So are you asking what makes us Israel? How do we prove that we Israel? Is that what you're asking?
This book of Romans chapter 8, verse 16. The Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit.
The what?
The Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit.
Your spirit gonna bear witness, because our spirit align with the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? That's how we gonna basically prove it. Keep reading.
That we are the children of God.
That we what?
That we are the children of God.
Your spirit gonna bear witness, not by just the tribulation that you go through, but your spirit gonna bear witness, because the Lord said, "My sheep hear my voice." When they hear the things that have been spoken truly by Him, they gonna hearken to what's being spoken. If He say, "Keep my commandments," when we ain't never heard these things, when we hear it being His true sheep, we gonna hearken to keep His commandments. When He show us through the truth, or through truth, explaining us that we went through these captivities for this reason, for being rebellious, now we have an understanding as to why we as a nation of people go through the things we go through. Why we at the bottom, why we keep struggling to keep our heads above water. We realize now through the scriptures, through His word that He speaks to us, that we are the children of God. Read up.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 45. Moreover, all these curses.
All these what?
All these curses
shall
come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed.
Till what?
Till thou be destroyed.
Physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially. These curses are going to overtake us as a nation of people for being rebellious. Read.
Because thou hearkenest not.
Because what?
Because thou hearkenest not.
Because we don't want to listen to keep His commandments. Read.
Unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Now the other nations, they don't know nothing about His commandments. Let me get that in Psalms as well. They don't know about His commandments. They don't know about His judgments, the thing that's going to pertain to them or to us for doing the things that we supposed to be doing or not to. You know what I'm saying? Because He didn't speak to them. He didn't free them. He ain't dealing with them. He chose us. Everybody got problems, but we go through more problems than anybody else. We at the bottom. We ain't got no land. We don't own no businesses. We ain't got our own language, our own culture. We got what they give us. You know?
Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God to keep His commandments.
To do what?
To keep His commandments.
I want to keep commandments, simple commandments. You keeping one right now and don't even know it's a commandment by having a beard on your face. A black man, a Latino, or a Native American man is supposed to have a beard on his face. That's a simple commandment, but it ain't being taught. That's a simple commandment, and it means something, and it's powerful by a man putting a beard on his face, but it ain't being taught to us. So if it ain't being taught to us, we can't keep it. Therefore, we stay in sin, chaos, and all type of problematic situation that our people go through time in and time after time, you know?
To keep His commandments and His statutes which He commanded thee, and they shall be upon thee.
Listen to what He's saying, King.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
For a what?
For a sign.
Now, a sign do what, King? A sign do what, King? A sign identifies, right? What does a sign do, King? That's why we struggle as a people.
Brother, listen to the rest of it. Listen to the
What does a sign do? Brother, what is a sign? You asked the question, I'm trying to give you an answer. So when I ask you what a sign is, I need an answer. Because that's going to help give you an answer to your question. So what does a sign do? What does a sign do, y'all? It what? Confirmation. What you say, sis?
I'm gonna say it's like a warning.
A warning? What you think, sis? A warning. All those things are correct, but a sign actually, just like that street, it identifies what street you driving on. So these curses would be on the Israelites to show exactly who they are.
Right.
Read.
And they shall be upon thee.
Meaning the curses, they shall be upon thee.
For a sign.
For what?
For a sign. And for a wonder.
And for a wonder, because you saying, why I got to go through this? You confused in the mind saying, why we, when they ain't going through the same thing. They ain't trying to get a job. They can go in there and say, hey, we family. They got a job. We got to jump through hoops, jump through hurdles just to get our own mother, father, brother, sister a job. They ain't got to do that. We'll be there for 10 years and can't get a promotion. No, they'll get somebody from their family that graduate high school and he got a job and he ruling over you. Read.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed.
Upon who?
And upon thy seed.
The seed, the children of God, the children of Israel, thy seed, they're going to be upon us for a sign and a wonder. Read.
Forever.
For how long?
Forever.
Read.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God.
Read that again.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joy. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart from the abundance of all things.
We ain't serving the Lord joyfully. We ain't serving him. We got why your faith weak, bro? Why is it weak? That's part of it, because we ain't serving them joyfully. We ain't coming together as a nation of people. We ain't building each other up. Now, we want you to be here. We want to help build you up, build your faith, build your spirit up. That's why we out here. We're not against you, bro. We going through the same thing you going through. Everybody out here that's standing right here going through the same problems as a nation. Our job is to edify, gather together to build each other up, not to create more chaos and confusion. We gave you an answer to your problems, and now you're trying to talk over us, bro. How are we going to get somewhere like that? You asked the question, and it's my job to give you an answer. You did ask.
You mind if I ask?
Go ahead.
Brother, did you understand the answer, though? Because he said the curses would be upon our seed forever. That's answering the question, asking how do we know that we're the Israelites? Showing you that the curses that are written in Deuteronomy 28, only the Israelites will be going through those curses. So if these curses fit us as a people, then we know that we are the people of the book. That's why the brother said, read earlier, the Spirit bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God, right? The so-called white man, he cannot connect with this. He can't say, I go through the curses of Deuteronomy 28. He can't. The Korean man can't say that.
Right.
The Arab man can't say that.
Right.
His father's in the house.
Right.
Only the so-called black man, their fathers are not in the house. Brother, we the ones that are 80% of our household are single-parent households, man. Right. That's how we know we are the Israelites. In the
Hey,
Bible.
sis, before you leave, get a fly. Get a fly.
I thought you just said.
But you understand who we are, right?
Yes.
So do you understand what we have to do?
Yeah, we have to keep the commandments.
So who are we? Who are we? That's right.
All praise. All praise.
All praise.
You're welcome, sister. Thank you, sir.
And that's the whole point why we are. We don't want our brothers and sisters to come up here and sit and ask questions and leave not knowing who they are, what they supposed to do. If we do that, we ain't no different than the Christian church. We wasting our people time. We giving them things they want to hear, but to make change, we have to know these things and how to make change.
Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud.
Do what?
Cry aloud.
Cry aloud. Read.
Spare not.
Spare not they feelings. That's what the pastor shouldn't be in there caring about nobody's feelings. He should be giving them the truth, the understanding, so that they can make adjustments in their life. If you're just telling them to get up and hop and skip and dance, they're going to feel good and go out and make the same mistakes. But if you give them truth, this is why you're going through that, brother, sister. This is what you need to do to solve it. Now they leave out feeling better, but now they can make alterations in their life to make everything better.
Make it make sense.
There you go. Go ahead.
Lift up thy voice like a trumpet and show my people their transgression.
He didn't say show all people, he said my people. Show them where they going off. Show them the sins that they doing. We ain't getting that in the church. They'll have the homosexual up there leading the choir.
Wow.
Or leading the church.
Right.
You know? Or sitting up there marrying the two people. Knowing that ain't in the Bible. Read on.
And the house of Jacob their sins.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Micah, chapter 3, verse 11.
Uh-huh.
It says, the heads thereof judge for reward.
The heads, meaning the leaders of the churches, even of our community, even if they don't go to church. They do all the things they do for the reward. They don't do it for the uplifting of their people or the community. They do it all for money.
And the priests thereof teach for hire.
They teach what?
They teach for hire.
They teach for hire. TD Jakes ain't coming down here unless he gets some money. Trapolo ain't coming down here unless he gets some money.
Damn, Charlie, you got to book them.
You gotta book them in advance. They ain't coming without no money. You know. Now we hope them brothers repent and find the truth and deliver that message. But as of now, they ain't moving unless they getting paid. You can't even get close to them unless you getting paid. You know what I'm saying? You got a precept?
Yeah.
Oh, you had more on it?
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 28 and verse 8.
Uh-huh.
The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries
Uh-huh.
and against great kingdoms.
You see that's what the prophets of old used to do. They prophesied against wicked kingdoms. You know what I'm saying? About the things that were going on in society. They prophesied against those things just like we doing right now. Read.
Against great kingdoms of war.
Of what?
Of war.
Of war to come. War that's going on right now. This spiritual warfare. Go ahead.
And of evil.
And of what?
And of evil.
And of evil deeds. Even evil doctrines. Evil societies. Even evil programming. TV programming. That's evil.
Like you were saying, they wouldn't be scared to stand up and say something, like you said, against the gangsters or against the homosexuals or against the people. They wouldn't be scared to step on their toes. They'll tell them right from wrong. Right, you got it, King.
Great.
Against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence.
And of pestilence. Pestilence, another word for that would be disease. Prophesying disease to come. Showing you eat defiled foods, you're going to be diseased. You know, eating the wrong foods. Hey, that's how you end up with the blood pressure, the high blood pressure, the high cholesterol, the gout, you know, diabetes, different cancers from eating the wrong foods. You know what I'm saying? That's what the prophet was out there prophesying to the people about. Get your mind, body, and spirit right. You know? But they ain't teaching that in the church. You're going to listen to about 3-4 songs. They're going to pass the plate around 3-4 times. You know? You get up, you hug each other. It's good to see you. And then he give you a 3-hour sermon with 6 scriptures, if that. 3 hours with 6 scriptures.
It's one scripture, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It's one scripture that comes to my mind when I think about the churches is something about the Lord doesn't dwell.
Acts 7:48.
Man-made buildings or something like that. So that used to be one of my things to be like, okay, so I don't have to go to church every Sunday. God, when Christ was walking, he didn't stop at a building. He spoke to everybody that was around him, anybody that wanted to hear the word. So why do I have to wait for one day out of a week to go inside of a building that I'm seeing here in according to scripture? It say that God does not dwell in man-made, I think, buildings. I'm not selling.
We're going to read it for you, sis. Bring it up.
Book of Acts, chapter 7, and verse number 48. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as said the prophet.
So he don't dwell in temples made by man's hands, you know. And another thing, you remember earlier we brought out Daniel 7:25. Y'all might have been present or not, but it was saying that this guy would think to change times and seasons, and times and laws, times and laws. This guy, he would have you to think that you're supposed to go to church on Sunday. Now, where in the scriptures do it say go to church on Sunday, sis? Huh? The Sabbath day is on the 7th day of the week. When you look on your calendar, the last day of the week is Saturday. So that's when we actually supposed to get together and learn about the Lord and congregate amongst each other. That's what today is. That's why we out here congregating right now, giving the word of the Lord to our brothers and sisters. But that man, the evil one, the man that's ruling over this earth right now, he would think to change times. And they did that back in the Roman time. What's his name? Constantine, during the Council of Nicaea. They changed the Sabbath day from Saturday to Sunday. And Muhammad changed the Sabbath from Saturday to Friday. So the Islamic folks, they Sabbath day is on Friday. And the Christians or Christianity changed it where they have worship on Sunday when it's actually supposed to be the 7th day of the week, Saturday. You know what I'm saying? So this man changed times and laws to have us to go off. We celebrating and coming together on the wrong day. And we celebrating their feast days, their traditions, their customs, rather than our own. Just like right now, what's coming up, the next holiday coming up?
Tomorrow, right? Easter, Passover.
Easter. What'd you say, sis?
Wouldn't it be Thanksgiving?
Passover is coming up. Passover is always in the spring. But they thinking, we got us thinking that Easter coming up. Now that's a pagan custom. That's their custom. They don't teach us nothing about Passover. And what does Easter actually mean?
It's something they have to do. I want to say, I might be wrong.
Ain't never seen a regular
But it was something where it stemmed from like a pagan god, Isis or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
A
Esther.
fertility god, something
Exactly.
like that, yeah.
Those are what back during was that Mesopotamia when that came? My Esther, Nimrod.
That was Babylon. Babylon.
Okay. So around that same time frame when they actually had that goddess that they worship, it's a goddess, you know, Esther. And that's where they get Easter from. You know. But we celebrating that today for what reason? What are they mixed in with it? They say she a fertility goddess, but they saying it's when Christ rose again.
Like, what does that have to do with Christ?
And once again, that go with them mixing customs together, just like they do for Christmas. They take one thing that these people like, they want to make them happy. They want to mix something that these people like, put it all together so everybody can have fun together. But they don't mean nothing, you know. So here we are today. Let me get Colossians 2 and 8.
I got another one.
All right.
The book of Colossians, chapter 2 and verse 8.
Uh-huh.
Beware, lest any man spoil you.
Beware, meaning be on alert, high alert at that. Go ahead.
Beware, lest any man spoil you.
Any man spoil you, meaning destroy you. That's what that word spoil means. Just like you got spoiled milk in the fridge, that milk is destroyed. It ain't no good. Beware, don't let a man spoil you, read.
Through philosophy.
Through what?
Through philosophy.
Ways of thinking, philosophy, read.
And vain deceit.
Lies. Don't let a man deceive you. Beware of the things that they speak to try to convince you that you're supposed to be doing these things. Yeah, we been celebrating Easter. Yeah, they had the candy, the Easter eggs, the eggs and all that. What does it mean though? And they just say, we've been doing it forever. It's for the kids. But why are we doing it? Where did it start? We don't have answers for these things. But we spend our money to buy new suits, new dresses, get our hair and nails done, go out buying candy, baskets, and we have no idea where it started from, and we don't even teach the kids what it's about. But we constantly doing it because they illustrate signs like that, make it look colorful, make it look fun. They have Easter egg hunts. They cook big meals at home and at church. Everybody say that's a good family gathering. But it's philosophy and vain deceit. Good morning.
After the traditions of men.
After who?
After the traditions of men.
Uh-huh.
After the rudiments of the world.
After the traditions of men and after the rudiments of this world is these pagan holidays created and what?
And not after Christ.
And what?
And not after Christ.
You ain't gonna find nowhere in the Bible where Christ celebrated Easter or Halloween or Christmas. You ain't gonna find those things in there. Oh, go ahead.
Let me ask you, because is a birthday considered pagan?
Yeah. You know,
I just wanted to know.
That's basically, when you look into the Satanic Bible, that's one of their highest days of worship. But when you read in the scriptures, the Lord said, cursed is the day one is born into this earth, and blessed when he on his way out. You know what I'm saying? Job, he said the same thing. You know? Bring it out, King.
Book of Job, chapter 3,
That's right.
and verse
I think it's 5.
number 2. So like, yeah. Verse number 2. And Job spake and said, let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night in which it was said, there is a man-child conceived. Let that day be darkness. Let not God regard it from above, neither let the light shine upon it. Let darkness and the shadow of death stain it. Let a cloud dwell upon it. Let the blackness of the day terrify it. As for that night, let darkness seize upon it. Let it not be joined unto the days of the year. Let it not come into the number of months. Lo, let that night be solitary. Let no joyful voice come therein.
Let me get that in chapter 1, I believe, when his kids were celebrating their day.
I just want to make a quick point on that too. I'm gonna get that for you real quick. It says, let it not be joined until the days of the year. You know, we always had that day, that one day. This is my day. You don't even have that day in your year. You know, and ultimately, like he said in the Satanic Bible, that's the number one thing, number one custom to do, which is to make yourself a god that day, to esteem yourself higher than anything else, right? And one more, it was I'll let you get it, King. I'll let you get it.
Yeah, let me get that in Job chapter 1 right quick. Kids were celebrating, his sons were celebrating their day. I just want to make a quick point on that.
Job chapter 1. And verse.
I want to make another point while he finds it. A lot of people would say, well, they bought Christ gifts when he was born. You know, they bought him gold and myrrh and things of that nature. But you're not going to read nowhere else in the scriptures where he was celebrating his own birthday. You're not going to find where Abraham was celebrating his birthday, Isaac, Jacob, Moses. None of the prophets, you ain't going to see them celebrating their birthday. Nowhere in the scriptures. You don't see Peter doing it, Paul doing it, but you will see them keeping the commandments. You'll see them having faith. Doing the things that's required as an Israelite man and a child. Doing the things that's required. Birthdays and customs are there. Those are things that we're not supposed to learn anyways. Found the key?
Yeah. Book of Job, chapter 1 and verse 4. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, every one his day.
His day, his birthday, read.
And sent and called for the 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings, according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned.
That my what?
That my sons have sinned.
It said my sons have sinned. He's going to go out there and offer offerings up on their behalf. Now, we all been in the world before. We all been doing the things that we knew not about. If we celebrate birthdays, or a kid or a child have a birthday, and we know about it, don't they normally invite us? Why they ain't invite you? He said, let me go get my sisters. Why I ain't gonna get my daddy? He right here. He got all the money. Why he ain't coming? He knew better. They knew better. But they grown and doing their own thing. So they going to invite those who gonna participate in the act. And he got up that morning and went and made offering to the Lord on their behalf. They might have sinned last night. I told them don't celebrate. They did it anyway. They may have did it, they might not have. I'm gonna offer up for them anyway. You see that? Job wasn't included in it. In the beginning of that chapter, it said Job was a perfect man that hated evil. So
it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their heart.
Say that again.
And cursed God in their heart.
Now, what was the whole book of Job about? Why was he being tempted? Satan was trying to get Job to do what? Curse God. But Job rose up and said, it may be that my sons have did the same thing that I'm about to be tempted with. See that? Yeah, something. Yeah.
And that's the thing. I'm gonna make a point. The thing is, when you worship birthdays, you're really worshiping yourself. You're worshiping the lust of yourself. Think about it. Why are we celebrating ourselves? We full of sin. So we supposed to be worshiping what the Lord told us to worship. Not worship the things that we want to do. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that you can't go see a movie or something like that. But I'm saying when you worship yourself, you're worshiping the sin. You be eating pork all year long, then you're going to worship yourself. You've been following man traditions, but you're going to worship yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're worshiping your own lust. That's what it says in the book of Galatians 15:5 and 16. Thus I say, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Because you think about it, so on birthdays, what people do?
They eat, drink, be married, they do it all.
Party. The youngsters, what they do on their birthday? Older folks too. Lust. Women sleep with another man and she probably ain't want to been sleeping with it all year long, but just to fulfill that lust on her birthday, she gonna do it. Taking pill popping just to get high on their birthday, drinking, eating all type of stuff, abominable things. You know what I'm saying? Dressing all provocative on their birthday. Had their behind out, have a see-through dress with showing
taking those pictures now.
Okay.
Those naked pictures for their birthday.
Wow.
And their birthday suit.
Their birthday suit. Yeah. If you came out naked, you're gonna take a picture of yourself then. You know? Yeah, you got your birthday suit on. So that's what happened. Our people took on the lust of their spirit. That's all birthdays do. It's going on. I got one more too. You see, First Peter chapter 2 and verse 11. Dearly beloved, I beseech you, as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts which war against the soul. So fleshly lust, meaning you want to do the other things that the other nation do. You want to have a good time. On your birthday, you want to fulfill all those lusts. We have our sisters now, they want to go out of town to Jamaica and sleep with a Jamaican man or sleep with somebody else just to, you know, to fulfill that lust. They call it girls' night, girls' day or something like that, you know. Y'all call it now, we call it girls' trip, right. Right. Girls, your birthday weekend.
All praise.
Hey, that's what they do. And the sisters, they promote it like, girls, your birthday, have a good time. Right. You only get it one time. And some people, they take their whole month off for a birthday, whole week. You know what I'm saying?
I am guilty. I'm saying it that way. Let me say this. So when I was raised as, you know, a lot of these things I am familiar with because the teachings are kind of similar, kind of parallel. But I never really heard much about birthdays. Just, you know, so I just thought I'd ask. Because it's not necessarily a holiday, but it's just, you know, a day that I was always looking at it as, you know, thanking God for another year. You know what I mean? But you know, you put it into a different light for me. But you know, like you said, a girl's trip is real. It has been real. But it's just a learning experience.
I mean, this would be a new question that has arisen with me because I never thought about the birthday. You know, I just thought that, like, you know, when Christ was born, you know, that's when we celebrated and, you know, this, that, and the other. So if it say that we are made in the image of God, I'm asking, I'm just asking, then, and that we were once gods, then do we not, I'm just trying to understand. I understand now that I've heard what you had to say on it. It just all makes sense. It makes sense. It just makes sense.
Like, when the scriptures go into we are gods, it's talking about the men.
Right.
The men are gods. You know, that's why the Most High told Moses, I'm gonna make you you're gonna make you a god unto Pharaoh. he was talking to Moses. I mean, he's going to make him a god to Pharaoh, the men. So the goddess came. That was the Babylonians did. Like Esther that he was going over earlier. Esther, she started herself as a goddess. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Esau, the so-called white man, does today. He tried to emulate that same spirit of old onto our people today. You know, trying to make themselves as goddess and God. But let's get that in Exodus chapter 20, verse 1.
Book of Jeremiah chapter 20 verse 14. Cursed be the day wherein I was born. Let not the day wherein my mother bare me be blessed.
And if you can see, these are examples of the Israelites, of our people, that did not worship their days, their birthdays. That's why Jeremiah said, cursed be the days that I was born. You know? So our people never did those things. And when you go through the scriptures, the other nations, the other heathens, they worship their birthdays. Those are customs that they kept, not our people.
So I guess my next question would be, like, when they're saying curse the day that they were born, are they saying that because they were born into a world of sin and they knew that it was going to be, you know, a lot of trials and tribulations?
Right. Yeah, that's one way. That just allowing you to see too that we was born in these conditions, and while we're worshiping ourselves, while we're in these bad conditions, we need to be serving the Lord, not worshiping ourselves. That's why we curse as a people now, because we want to worship ourselves, our lust. See, look, if we headed our way, man, look, we'll see with the other nations people. You know what I'm saying? White woman, the Arab woman, you know, different things like that. Some brothers might sneak off and be with another brother, another man. You know what I'm saying? That's worshiping your own lust. That's why the Lord don't want you worshiping yourself. You know, or else you might do something, hey, do drugs or whatever you want. That's in your lust. So you shouldn't do those things. And now you have even our sisters that sleep with another sister. You know, those things going on. Because, hey, look, I heard people on their birthdays, women that sleep with other women. On their birthday. I know y'all heard this conversation too before. Just because it's my birthday, you know, I kissed a girl and I liked it, type of spirit on them, man.
Or when those want to make a statement thing.
There you go. Bring it out, sis. That's the truth. Because we took on the customs and the persuasion of the so-called white man, the enemy, Esau. You know what I'm saying? So we can't worship ourselves as God. You know what I'm saying? We got to worship the true God. And we may be God on earth, the so-called black man, and the Israelites, but we can't worship ourselves as a God. Go ahead,
Book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6, verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. And in the day of the king's birth, every month they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy.
See that? So we kept the heathens' day. The heathens worshiped their birthday. We kept those customs. So just like when the white man back in the day, he used to worship his birthday when we was on the plantation, and we went in there and had cake, ice cream. Even though we wanted to cuss his behind out and kill him, but we had to go in there and celebrate with him, and then dance for him and sing for him on his birthday. Him and his wife. So the same thing that our forefathers had went through back in those days, we went through it here in America and still going through it. Now it's just more like we just adapt to it now. You know what I'm saying? We complacent. That's right. We accepted what our enemies gave us. You know what I'm saying? Now we worship him as a God and worship ourselves like we're a God. Because we got it from him.
Let me read this curse right.
Bring it out.
It's Deuteronomy 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, in thirst, and in nakedness, and the want of all things. And he shall put a yoke upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Until he have destroyed thee. He gonna put a yoke of iron on your neck. Did he not put the slaves a yoke of iron on our neck on our forefathers? He put it on the children too. Till he did what? Destroyed us. He destroyed our mind. Till he destroyed our mind, that we start worshiping his holidays,
Right.
accepting his traditions. Now we destroy today as a people. Look at our community. That's why we kill each other now. You know? And we accept homosexuality. We accept black on black crime. We accept death from our community. And we accept his holidays. You know? We accept this, what this devil has done to our people. You know?
Right.
And we don't question it, not one bit.
Like you said, he would take the yokes off our neck until we were destroyed. Meaning, when we was in captivity, well, we still in it, but when we had them chains and yokes around it, we was fighting against celebrating his birthday. You know what I'm saying? Now, once we destroyed in the mindset, you take it off, now we got the mindset, can't beat them, join them. Now we doing it because they did it. Because we seen them do it so much, now we think that's how we supposed to be. It's embedded in our minds now. We have been destroyed. That's what the yokes of iron was taken off our necks. Now we run around doing it freely. They ain't forcing us now. Now we teaching it. And that was one of the things that they taught in the Willie Lynch letter. Once we teach them how to respect us more than anything, they will grow up and teach their kids to do the same thing. And they said if the method is completed, it will last for over 300 years. That's what they taught us, and it's still going on today.
Book of Matthew, you wanted that, Book of Matthew, chapter 14, and verse number 6. I'll let you explain. But when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodias danced before them and pleased Herod. Whereupon he promised with an oath to give her whatsoever she would ask.
Oh, you see that, sister? So on Herod's birthday, he had the daughter of Herodias to dance before him on his birthday, the same way they had our forefathers back on the plantation, dance for them. This is biblical. These are prophecies. These are things. Well, this is history. That happened to our people, and we witnessed it today.
And she, being before instructed of her mother, said, "Give me here John the Baptist's head and a charger."
Oh.
And the king was sorry. Nevertheless, for the oath's sake, and them which sat with him at meat, he commanded it to be given her. And he sent and beheaded John in the prison.
So they beheaded John. That was the request of her, to behead John the Baptist and put it on the platter, which was a black man. You know, so behead his head because he was speaking against them and prophesied against them. And they prophesied against that nation, and they cut John the Baptist's head off because that's what he was doing, going against prophesying against the nation. And then she said, "Hey, look, put his head on the platter." You know what I'm saying? On a charger. Bring it to us.
Book of Matthew, chapter 2, and verse 1. Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, "Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him." When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem was with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, and thou Bethlehem in the land of Judea, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel."
So you see that? During that time, the wise men, they gave gifts on the day of the birth. Now, it's okay to give somebody a gift on the day of that person's birth. You know what I'm saying? You give them, some gold, some money.
No, that's not what I was going into. It was, what I was trying to get to was, they didn't even see the baby when he was born. See what I'm saying? It wasn't, they weren't giving him gifts because he was born.
Right.
See what I'm saying? They was giving him gifts because that was the Messiah. See what I'm saying? But they gave him frankincense, gold, and myrrh. Yeah.
Right, because they knew he was the Messiah. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, of course, if somebody have a, birth, you can help them out, but you're not worshiping them. You know what I'm saying? Like people have baby showers. You're not worshiping that kid. Don't worship him. Hey, look, there goes some Pampers. Now don't give them no Similac, you know. Give them other things they need. Baby wipes, you know, without the allergies and stuff like that. Give them stuff like that they need, you know what I'm saying? But the annually birthday worship, don't do it. That's not of the Lord.
Like, because it's almost, and I see what you're saying, because when you think about it, it's like you say, it's like glorified, because what people do, they go blow up these pictures of themselves and hang on. I see that.
I just find it, and just looking at it in a bigger, broader aspect, there's a lot of things that I feel like we have become complacent in, as far as not even just birthdays. And I'm just gonna be honest, just being a woman, like people don't understand that it's an order to everything. I feel like it's an order to everything, and I do know that God is first, Christ, the man, then is the woman. The way that things are set up, how it's set up, it has become to a point to where that's why when I was walking in, I heard this one who walked up, y'all was speaking about how you know everything has its place. I get up every day. I know that this ain't my hair, but my hair is as long as this. I know that I don't supposed to be wearing no hair. I know that my head is supposed to be covered. I know it's just certain things that every day, and it's just been real deep in my spirit here lately, in these last couple of years, that I just know it's just something real off, and it's off because it's like a order that's not there, and me not doing what it is that I know as a woman I should be tackling every day on. But I've become complacent on putting a hat on and some pants on because it's just the go-to. You know what I'm saying? It's go-to, and I'm tired of the go-tos. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense, you know, because I know there gotta be something other than this. I don't feel like, you know, when you love something, you know you love something. When you really love something, you doing whatever is necessary. And if a person say that they love the Most High, love God, then it gotta be something other than what we're doing just every day. It gotta be something extra that you're doing to show the love. So anyway, maybe I'm going a little bit.
You're right on, sister. You're right on, sister.
A lot of things have just become just because everybody else doing it. You know, we okay with doing it instead of
Precepts. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 104. Through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way. That's right. So you read and you understand the precepts. Now you're starting to understand and you're starting to hate all the false ways that you've been accustomed to. That's scripture. That's biblical. And that's in your spirit right there. That's telling you it's time to change. You know what I'm saying? Keep going, keep building. Because learn one thing and you keep adding on to your spirit, it's only going to make you stronger. And it's only going to help you to become stronger, to teach another to become stronger, and we become strong as a nation. Just by you doing the things that you know you're supposed to be doing. Same thing with us. We had to take it one time or one precept at a time to be built up. We seen other brothers out there doing the work that built us up in the spirit. We got to go out there and save our people. It ain't about us no more. It's about our nation of people. So through the precepts we get understanding. We begin to hate every false way.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 5, and verse 3. But you was going in, you said, we know it's all about love. You know, so we got to be more than that. But you're right. This is John chapter 5 and verse 2. By this we know that we love the children of God when we love God and keep his commandments. Because the Christian church, they'll just teach you just love, 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 but they don't teach you what love really is. Love is keeping God's commandments. That's how you know you love God's children. If you're going to love his people, you're going to keep his commandments, like it's saying here. And it says, verse 3, for this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. So that's the love of God, that we keep his commandments. You know what I'm saying? So as long as we're doing that, we know we love God. We love his people too. Because a lot of times we say, we love you, sis. We love you for giving you some money. Or just pass by you, say, excuse me. Yeah, that's good. But that's not really what love is. Love is loving God's commandments. Keep his commandments.
It's Luke chapter 14, verse 26. If any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life. Also, he cannot be my disciple. So the Lord not saying hate yourself and just go kill yourself, but hate your ways, right? And that's what you say. You tired of the same old what you said, the go-to, right? You tired of that. Guess what? We tired of that too. So guess what? We hate our sinful ways, our sinful nature. That's why the Lord said He's not even going to accept you unless you hate your own ways. Right? See that? You hate when you go off, right? Because other words, that will make you proud. Right? If you love going off, just like our people in the world, they love to twerk on TikTok, they love to do this and that, sin, eat pork, and then post a picture on it on a hashtag and say how proud they are to eat whatever they ate or doing whatever they do. You see what I'm saying? They showboating about it, they proud about it, they glad about it, but instead be shamefaced about that. You see what I'm saying? Hate those ways. Right? And when it's talking about hate your father and your mother, right? You're not supposed to love anybody more than the Most High. So, and that's what it is.
Psalms chapter 119, verse 59. I thought on my ways and turned my feet unto thy testimonies. I made haste and delayed not to keep thy commandments. So, you're thinking on your ways right now. You're learning more through the precepts. You're learning about the laws. You're learning about the testimony. Don't delay, make haste. Do the things that you know that you can do right now. Do them to build yourself up. You know what I'm saying? It's only going to make you better. Make your sister better, make your people, your son better, your family better. It's only going to make you better. The Lord was saying, when you're thinking on your ways, make haste to make change.